Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name's Allie, and I'm here at Heart and Soul Connected, and I welcome you to the show. These are a part of my 12 to 17 minute sweet and shorts for you on different topics, which could be spirituality, the humanities, or anything else that I deem might be worthy to some of you who are looking for something to watch. So welcome again, and I hope you like and subscribe to my channel and come back and see one of my lives if you get the chance. So today I want to talk about double rainbows in the sky. And it's such a magical thing that happens. And it's only happened to me once that I've seen a double rainbow. Most of us are thrilled when we see a rainbow, aren't we? I mean, especially when it is sort of across the entire scope of the sky. Sometimes we only catch a little glimpse or like a half a rainbow. But in my case, it was around November 1st, 1992. And my father had passed away that weekend, and we were on the way to the cemetery to bring his ashes to be buried up by my mom. It was very chilly. I lived in New England most of my life, and this was a really cool New England day in November, as you can well imagine. And the day wouldn't be full of surprises had I thought so in the beginning initially, but it ended up being one of the most profound experiences I've ever had. So I want to explain it to you and also tell you a little bit more about double rainbow magic. So double rainbows are actually very rare, which is the part of that makes them so special. And so if you even see one in your lifetime, know that you are special and that you are being given a message of hope and redemption. For a double rainbow, the sun needs to be shining through the rain at a very specific angle, and we're talking less than 42 degrees. And it's not just about the angle. The sunlight also needs to pass through water droplets that are uniform in size. So you can imagine how thrilled I was when I caught a glimpse of one. The conditions had to be just right, and even then, there's no guarantee that you will spot it. It may be there 1 minute and gone the next. So what happened to me was my brothers and I had gathered at my dad's apartment, and we were readying to go up to the cemetery when we stepped outside, and we had some pictures taken of the three of us because we very rarely were with each other, living in different parts of the country. As we turned to get into the car, I looked up and there was a beautiful double rainbow in the sky. And as I said before, I'd never seen one, and I've never seen one since. The profound impact of that, and knowing that it was my dad that had orchestrated that whole entire moment, and then honestly became a guide of mine for the remaining time in my life that he's been on the other side, has been quite phenomenal. One of the other things that you probably need to understand is that when I was in high school, I belonged to the Order of Rainbow Girls. And Rainbow Girls are a young women's offshoot of the Master Masons. The boys go into the DeMolay, and the girls go into Rainbow if they're interested. One of my brothers was a DeMolay, and I was a Rainbow. So this to us was phenomenal. Plus, both of us also were very spiritual, whereas my other brother was more a military guy and very pragmatic. You know, everything had to make sense, which that's okay. It's okay. But my brothers and I were all stunned at this particular thing. It's almost as though we had the chance to spot this needle in a haystack. That's just how rare it is. I spent hours waiting, for all of us to come together to get this picture and then go up to the cemetery. And then this happened. So it was almost like my dad was saying, okay, I'm going to line this all up for you. So when you get outside, you're going to be able to see it. That wasn't the only surprise that happened that day. But let me finish talking to you about double rainbows. And then at the end, I'll give you the other surprise that we were given at the cemetery. The rarity of double rainbows only adds to their allure. It's a bit like witnessing a solar eclipse. You know it's a once in a lifetime experience, so when you see a double rainbow, take a moment to appreciate its beauty and its rarity. Double rainbows form when the sunlight passes through the water droplets twice, which is why the secondary arc appears fainter and with the colors reversed. I was not even aware of that because I was so profoundly shocked by seeing it that I didn't take the time to see how the colors are. But it's almost like a mirror image of each other. And so the colors and the way they gradate from one to another is breathtaking. And the primary arc, always brighter, always appears on the outside. The science behind it is pretty cool, but what gets me is how mesmerizing they look. We could not stop looking at this double rainbow. As I said, all three of us were absolutely, completely in awe of what beauty we were seeing. And looking up over the New England sky and the treetops and the church steeple, the whole thing was a very pastoral scene for us, much like a painting would be, perhaps back in the day of say, 18th, 19th century. There's something about the way that the light dances through the droplets, and they create an optical illusion that's beautiful and humbling. It's a reminder how amazing our world is. It's not just visibly stunning, it evokes also a lot of emotions. And you can imagine that if you are on your way to a funeral, that emotion would be even more escalated, considering you're seeing it as a sign from that person from the other side, bringing it to you so that it's your special gift. It is often reported people feel a sense of wonder, peace, or even a little bit of magic. That's why I love capturing the idea and the memory of this period of time in my life. Seeing it in person is a life-changing experience, and the colors come alive, and every double rainbow is very unique. So it could come alive in different ways and for different people. The awe-inspiring moments double rainbows provide are something that we can all relate to. Whether it's the thrill of the chase or the serenity they bring, double rainbows have a way of connecting us with nature. In the end, it's the rainy and beauty of double rainbows that makes them so magical. They're a reminder that there's still wonder and enchantment to be found in the world, regardless of who is still with you in the physical plane, especially. So the next time you see one, or if you are able to see one, make sure that you take a look and that you sit and don't rush off away from it, because it is a rare experience. After we finished, glimmering the beauty of this beautiful rainbow, we all got into the car and drove up the hill to the burial spot where my mother had already been laying, and my father would be joining her. As we pulled in and parked down the old pathway that led to that site, I noticed that the headstone had something in front of it that was absolutely stunning. And the closer that I got to it, the more beautiful it became. And there had been a hard frost the night before, which basically means that anything that was in the ground that was not sturdy or hardy would probably not make it through the night. As we walked towards the gravestone, a single pink rose was seen in front of the stone, and it had opened up into the beautiful flower that became an amazing welcome of love. My brothers and I shed many tears because we felt that it was my mother welcoming my father to be back by her side again. She had passed 4 to 5 years before him, and their last times together weren't the most, when you get older, they're not always, sterling moments that you have together. But the fact that he sent us the double rainbow, which I felt was him saying everything's going to be okay. There's still wonder and amazement that you can look forward to in your own lives that I had with you. And the flower to me represented eternal love, and a welcoming to my dad from my mother as well. We had recorded Natalie Cole's song with her dad, Nat King Cole. And I had put it on a regular tape recorder. Remember, this was way before cell phones and everything. And I put the tape recorder on top of the gravestone, headstone, because it had been already put there just with my mother underneath. And you can imagine our surprise, I guess, that the tape recorder ceased to work. The tape recorder froze. And yet this rose continued to bloom. One might say, well, are you sure it wasn't somebody that just bought a rose and stuck it in? And no, it was a growing rose. It was an absolute growing rose. My daughter and I ended up singing Unforgettable, That's What You Are, as it was something my father listened to the last year of his life. And it probably had come out just a little bit before with the two of them in it, where a father and a daughter sing together. And across time, because Nat King Cole was not alive when they merged that beautiful recording of the two of them. So the synchronicities, the symbolic things that were available to myself and my family at that time, the double rainbow, the song we chose, the beautiful rose, and the idea that a hard frost had already occurred, were all extremely rare events that came together in confluence to create a synchronicity that provided meaning not only to myself, but to anyone else who was listening. Thank you so very much. I hope you see lots of double rainbows and make sure you wish upon them. They're fabulous. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.